It is Monday, May 18th. I'm Chris Winn. Welcome to Chris Winn's World Podcast Excellent. I try to jump on a little bit earlier than my guest, just so I can say, hey, if you got something shitty to say, stay the fuck off. If you want to talk about religion or politics, stay the fuck off. We don't talk about none of that stuff. And even if we do, we just do. So, fuck it. You know what I mean? So, it's Winn's World Excellent Podcast, man, and we're just stoked to be here. Tonight's guest is a friend of mine, been a friend of mine for a while, and you might have seen him on the cover of Vanity Fair, because he is purty. And his name is Luke Wessman, and Luke is just such a good guy, man. I mean, a philanthropist, man. He's always trying to help somebody. He's come, from a modest background, man. Just, you know what I mean, and just worked his way up the ladder, to where he's at today, which I'm so proud of him, man. And it's really amazing what you can do when you really get to it. A lot of tattooers and a lot of artists are self-made. We dream it up and we make it. And we make it happen. And that's one of the things that's beautiful about tattooing, is that you can do whatever you want. You can go anywhere you want. Luke has been all over the world, man. His photo's been on billboards. He has just been all over the place, man. Like, oh, did I mention Vanity Fair magazine? And dude, a tattooer on Vanity Fair magazine, Jesus, that's just, yeah, I know. And he always seems to just keep an extreme upbeat personality. I don't hear him talking shit. I don't hear him doing any of those things. Never really a bad word comes out of him. He's always trying to help somebody. I see that he just joined, and dude, he's just, as far as I'm concerned, I just dig the shit out of him. We've been friends for, I don't even know how long, 20 years, something like that, or whatever. And to watch him, grow and rise from the San Diego area, where I kind of came up, has just been it's been really cool. So I'm going to bring him on right now. Gentlemen, please welcome to Winn's World Podcast Excellent, Luke Wessman. And we're just waiting. There you go. Hey, buddy, what's going on, man?
Hey, what up, bud? How you doing?
Dude, I am excellent. How are you?
Good, man. Quarantine day 567.
Oh, I had 568. Wow, dude. Serious, bro. Dude, it's not the only thing I learned today.
So I was here ready to join, and I was like, when I have like tattoo appointments, I hate when people show up too early. Yeah. Because then I start to feel the pressure of their appointment. Yeah, and totally. People show up right on time, so I tried to show up right on time for you. 8 o'clock, sure.
Dude, it's money, dude. It's money. Because I always go on at like 7:57, and I just want to make sure that I tell anybody, if they want to talk shit, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Whatever. Because we don't need any of that stuff. We're here to talk about tattoos. We're good men talking about good times, and that's what's up.
I love it.
I don't want to hear too much about politics. I don't want to hear too much about that stuff. I just want to hear about what you're doing today to be a better man, be a better tattooer, and be a better steward of tattooing. You know what I mean? So, and that's one thing that I we've talked, man. I've said this to you 100 times if I've said it to you once. I think that you are a prime example of exactly what tattooing needs to be. Guys like you, guys like Tim, you know what I mean? Dude, just you bring it all the time.
I mean, Tim's in a class of his own. I don't think I could even be at that level, because he is just the fucking giver and a badass at tattooing.
I know it. You know what? It was so hard because I just reached out to him to see if I could get him on the podcast, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I keep getting these fucking good looking motherfuckers, man." And it's like you and fucking Tim, and dude, you guys are the best looking tattooers in the fucking business.
Not anymore, man. There's more grays and belly fat than ever.
Dude, whatever, bro. Whatever. You know what I mean?
Did Tim get back to you yet?
No, he hasn't, but I'm sure he will, man. Dude, he's got he's got 4 companies and a family he's got to take care of. So, it's all good, man. It's all good. But anyways, let's just get right into it, man. And let's start. I know a bit about your story. We've been friends for I don't know, 18, 20 years, something like that. And growing, us coming up in the San Diego area, really it was such a tight-knit group of guys. Everybody knew everybody, you know what I mean? So, and me working for Sam and you working at, for Dave and down at Lucky's, man. And, Thomas being down there and more, and just all the cats, man, that we all know and love. It was a really small community. So
yeah,
we fucking Godfrey, a bunch of handsome bastards. Dude, I love that guy. But anyways, so when did you think about getting into tattooing? And I, you're from Oceanside, you know what I mean? I love that. When did that whole thing kind of come around?
Okay. So how did I never thought about it as a young guy. I started getting tattooed probably about 16. Do you know a guy named Jason Betts?
Oh yeah.
He owns, yeah. So Jason owns those shops in Oceanside now.
Jason Betts still owes me Denali.
Oh shit, that's a big
order. Denali once. Yeah.
That's a tall order. So him and my older brother were close friends in the neighborhood in Oceanside, in the valley, Deep Valley, Oceanside, and he just started doing tattoos way before I had seen or really knew anything about tattooing. I just saw prison, Samoans, gangsters, and but then it became close to my little world, and I started seeing him tattoo people, and I was this twig of a kid, man, skinny little white kid, trying to figure out what my identity was, and I thought, okay, well, if I look meaner in my environment, it'll help me because I have to navigate, around a bunch of tough guys and shit.
Yeah, totally guilty.
So I was like, I'm going to go get tattoos because that's something I know I can control. I'm going to go. And so I got my last name on my back, and I was getting my neighborhood, and, I got Oceanside on my side, and was trying to look meaner and really, but almost like for armor, not because I, one, cared about art, 2, didn't really care about tattooing. I just wanted to look like a little bit tougher in my neighborhood.
Right.
And I don't think it really ever worked because I always had a kind face.
Fasole in the valley, man. Those were tough spots in Oceanside. People don't know what Oceanside was all about.
No, yeah. So my older brother was kind of involved in a lot of gangs, and he got in a lot of trouble with a lot of those guys. Fasole, Center Street, Bloods, Crips, a lot of drug dealing. I think crystal meth was coming out around that time in the 90s. I started to see it anyway. And so my thing was look tougher, and then eyes on the prize, find a good job and keep working. Right. So along the way, Jason got a job at About Face, which I think is still there.
Yeah.
On PCH. It was the first shop that opened up in Oceanside since they closed it down in the 50s or whenever they stopped it. So I started going there to get tattooed at an actual tattoo shop, and it was the first time I was ever in a shop, and I saw other artists, and I was like, holy shit, these guys are well-traveled and cool, and they paint cool shit. And so I was just on the corner of my eye seeing some of the other artists that were working in there, and really kind of got wide-eyed to what tattooing could be and how big it was, aside from just kitchen neighborhood stuff.
Right.
So I became friends with a guy named Milford Barnes.
Oh, God. Yeah, well.
So he's created some havoc in the community over his years. But he is a great tattooer.
Great.
And he surfs, and I was surfing a lot at the time. So him and I kind of started surfing together. And then I started getting tattooed by him, started getting traditional tattoos, started to learn about Americana, pinup, Dave Gibson, Lucky's. And he really opened my eyes to that. So that's how I was introduced to tattoo culture or whatever, or that world.
Right.
And ultimately Milford asked, "Hey, do you want to learn how to tattoo?" And I, at the time, was just like an electrician. And I was working as hard as I could. I was 17. I was making, pretty good money as an electrician. Didn't have a family, so I was like, I just have to make sure I can survive.
Right.
But my parents being gypsies and hippies, I think I had some of that spirit in me, and I think there's some of that spirit in tattooing.
Right.
So I was kind of pulled by it. So when he asked me, I kind of thought about it for a week. And was like, fuck, can I make a living doing this? It wasn't like, oh, tattoo's cool and I think I want to do some cool shit. It was like, fuck, can I make a living doing this, going this way?
Right.
And obviously was admiring, the artists I saw and tattooing as I started to learn about it. But I just made the decision. So I was like, fuck yeah, I want to learn. So I had part of that last generation of really learning how to make needles and how to deal with, humility. And
oh, God, yeah.
So then Milford got a job at Lucky's for Dave. That was his goal. He came from Florida and was tattooed in Oceanside. Then he got the job at Lucky's. And so then he basically brought me with him to Lucky's. And I became the shop guy there. He was like, hey, Dave, can I bring this guy Luke? I'm kind of teaching him how to tattoo. And Dave was like, nah, he could be the floor guy. He can mop the floor, He's not an apprentice. And that whole thing,
Oh, yeah.
And, at the time it sounded so fuck, but it was really him going, okay, he's going to be the apprentice. Let's see if he's got it,
Yeah.
And so that's how I came into tattooing. Then I started kind of an unofficial apprenticeship at Lucky's for a year and a half. And I was still working as an electrician until 3, and then I rushed to the tattoo shop every night or every afternoon and stayed till it closed. Yes, Dave Gibson, rest in peace.
Yeah, Dave did my first tattoo.
No way.
At Burt Grimm's.
Yeah. See, at Lucky's, he had a sign that said Dave Gibson. No, it said Burt Grimm's Long Beach, and it was a big sign that everyone that had worked there, all the tattooers signed when Dave left Burt Grimm's and went to open his shop in San Diego. And so, I caught the tail end of being a part of that dragon tail, of the one that you're part of.
Yeah, man, and it was crazy, man. I mean, Dave taught me more on my first tattoo than I could have ever learned, because it was crazy, because I went in there to get I was playing in a rock band, man. I was just turning 18. I had a little couple hand pokers that we had been doing at the garage and shit. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go down. And I told my girlfriend at the time, I go, I'm going to go down and get your fucking name on my arm, man. But dude, it's going to be tough, man. I'm going to get a rose and a heart or something, And I walked in there, and dude, he just made me feel so unprepared, And it was crazy, because he was like, what do you want to do? And I go, I don't know, man. I just want something that's kind of rock and roll. And he goes, well, you got to get a rose, man, and a heart, or a rose and a guitar or something, man. You know what I mean? And I was like, cool. And he was in the back corner booth. That was his spot. And he had 6 or 7 of his sheets right behind. And he goes, well, here's the stuff you want to pick from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, wow. And he goes, here's a nice one. And I was like, okay. So he puts it, and it's got a banner in it, and he does the whole tattoo. And I'm like, well, I wanted to get my girlfriend's name. And he goes, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? And he goes, you're fucking stupid. Get out of here. You know what I mean? Just pay me and get out of here. You know what I mean? And I was like, whatever. So I, paid him and left, and dude went home. My girlfriend was all pissed, man. You know what I mean? And I ended up going back 3 days later, and he goes, I fucking knew you'd be back. He goes, fucking put that thing in, charge me an extra $50 to put the fucking name in. 6 months later, I went and had it covered up, and he goes, I told you not to do that shit. You know what I mean? But it was, the way he did it was my first real, listen to this fucking dude. You know what I mean? And I really got that, man, when I started my apprenticeship, was to listen to a tattooer, because the tattooer knows what's up, man. They've been doing this shit way longer than you have,
Yeah, I mean, it was gold, the conversations that we were privy to in those early years, when it was a mysterious industry.
Yeah.
And every story, everything from the exit sign on the bathroom door, the little tricks to make the shop flow better, just the vibe and the energy. It was special, you know. It was a special time, and you know, now we're the freaking becoming the older guys, and now our whole job is to try not to be grumpy.
But I almost feel like it's kind of a blessing to be a little older than those guys, because those guys started seeing us come in, and they, you know, we're getting the cars and we're getting the girls and we're getting, you know what I mean? All of a sudden it just became more of a rock star lifestyle where they were like, what the fuck, man? I've been doing this for 20 fucking years, man. And you know what I mean? Yeah, I got some girls and I got some this and I got some that, but you know what I mean? Like, look at these fucking kids, man. You know what I mean? They're fucking handsome. They're fucking young. You know, dude, fuck those kids. You know what I mean? You know? And you know, so I think that at our point, because, and I know probably in your situation that a lot of people come to you because the fact that you're seasoned, because the fact you've been around, because the fact that you've done this, that, and the other thing. You know what I mean? You know, so
luckily it's an industry. Luckily, it's an industry where people value the duration of time you've been in it. You know, whenever anybody asks how long you've been doing it, and if I say, you know, around 20 years, they're like, oh shit, okay. You know what I mean? It's not one of those things like, oh, you're expired. It's like, oh, you've got experience. It's
right.
There's value, and I love that there's that just you know, having those years is valuable in a lot of ways.
And it is, man. And to come from the situation, and one of the reasons that, like, I really wanted to have you on was because of the fact that you came from Lucky's. And Lucky's was like a mini Grimm's. Yeah. You know, it was because David been there. He'd been there for years, you know, and basically took everything right down to Lucky's. Everything was hand-painted. Everything on the wall was hand-painted, just like at Burt Grimm's. It was a traditional tattoo shop, whether or not you did, you know, baby mama names or whatever the hip thing was at the fucking time. You know what I mean? It was still known as a traditional tattoo shop. Yeah. You know? And where it was located, Broadway, was just an amazing spot because, I mean, you guys had basically the only competition you had was Masters because Tiger Jimmy was just fucking lost.
Yeah. Well, they still stayed busy at the time, though. But yeah, there was only like four or five shops at the time when we were there. Then, you know, now there's a bunch in San Diego and everywhere, but it was a really special shop. I think the longer I was there and the longer I've been away, the more I realized how special of a place it was and how important in tattooing it was.
Oh yeah. And that's one of the things that I hope that comes through this whole thing, Luke, is the fact that people start realizing how special it is. Yeah. You know what I mean? It is it's a gift. You know, whether or not it's a monetary exchange of money or whether it's just you hooking up your homie, whatever it is, man, as a tattooer, you're given a piece of yourself to this person.
There's nothing like it.
Dude, there's nothing like it in the world, man. And that's, you know what I mean? And they fucking hate us because they ain't us. You know what I mean? You know, and at that point, man, it's just been, you know, and we get to do what we get to do. We get to travel. We get to do, you know, get to hang out with our friends and listen to fucking loud music and draw on people. It's amazing, you know?
I never in a million years would have imagined that I would have traveled as much as I have in my life. It's because of tattoo.
Yeah, can you imagine? Do you even, like, you know what I mean? Like, sitting here looking at you and just thinking about both of us. Both of us were like, dude, just like, how the fuck did we get here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you've been around the world several times tattooing, and the people that you know, are the elite of the elite, you know, and you have constantly kind of gathered the best of people as your best friends.
Try to keep the good ones, you know?
Yeah,
that's one of the beauties of tattooing, where you really get to sit down and get to know somebody, and if they're awesome, you know, you're like, I'm keeping you as a friend, as a client.
Yeah, totally. And it's crazy because, and I've spoke about this before, that those type of friends, clients, whichever you want to call it, you know what I mean, both, whatever, they respect you so much. They know that you're making a living by this, and you're like, oh no, dude, I got you on this one. I got you on this one. They're like, oh no, and you're like, I got you. Don't worry. You know what I mean? And then they leave, and there's $300 sitting on the table.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, dude, you know. And we've both been blessed to have some great clients, some great jobs, some great experiences, you know.
And to touch on what you said, there's a wonderful sign at True Tattoo in Hollywood that says, enter as a stranger, leave as a friend. And I always think of that with a new client, you know.
I hope Oliver kept that sign.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that True went down like that. You know,
is that public knowledge?
Yeah, I believe that it is.
If not, you're hearing it first here.
and blessings to True. You know what I mean? True has been an institution here in Los Angeles for a decade or two. You know what I mean? And it's some of the greatest tattoo artists have gone through that spot. And you know, it will be missed. You know what I mean? For sure.
Yeah, a lot of history. 20 years.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. A lot of heads have rolled through that thing, man. A lot of stories come out of that thing.
A lot of stories.
Dude, the whole Friday the fucking 13th thing came out of that thing.
Dude, I was blown away the first time I did a Friday the 13th there. I thought, cool, it'll be like a little thing. And then I get there like that Thursday night, you know, because they start at midnight on Thursday night. And Oliver has just built such a great program. And there was lines of like 300 people in Hollywood the first time I did it, maybe 5-6 years ago, and it just blew my mind. It blew my mind that there was that. I mean, everyone wants cheap tattoos, but I was just blown away, and it's so fun.
Dude,
Fun to do.
Yeah. Dude, sometimes these guys, man, I swear to God, Lefty, Godfrey, and wait till Robert gets on. It gets super fun when Robert gets on. But so tell us a little bit about what went on at True, man, with the Friday the 13th thing. Do you have any? How did that get started, man?
You know what? I don't know. I just know it's always been attributed to Oliver being somebody that really like made it pop. And I don't know. I thought maybe he started it in Dallas, and that's where it kind of
really
became like. I mean, he's been doing it, I think, for like 15 years and making a thing about it. But I don't know the origins. I know they're working on a.
Lefty says it was at Elm Street.
Yeah, I could see that. I think they're working on a documentary that they've been filming like the last I don't know how many years and putting together a story about it. So that's going to be rad to see.
Yeah, great.
But yeah, I don't know the details of it, man. I think Oliver and his team made it famous. You know, made it a thing.
You know, man, Oliver has always been that guy, man, to do something crazy just outside of the box.
Yeah.
I love that about him, man. I love that about him. It's such a great thing. And you know what, man, he as well, man, you know what I mean? I know you guys are good friends. And, dude, like literally, he has just always tried to keep tattooing on the forefront of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, to be on TV for so long and still be kind of seen as like a real kind of old school tattooer. I think he is, at least.
Oh yeah,
it's a major accomplishment, you know, because you know, tattooers can be rough when they think you've turned on them.
Oh yeah. But you know, and one of the things is, and as an old school tattooer, I never really thought about that whole thing, especially about the TV thing, because, you know, obviously my brother Thomas Pendleton started the first real TV show, which was Inked in Vegas.
Yeah.
With Hart and Huntington.
Yeah,
and
that was the first.
Hart. And I watched that thing, and then, you know, he went straight into from that, the Tattoo Highway. And then all of a sudden, you know, here comes Omni with fucking Miami Ink and just crushes it. Yeah. And you guys, it was funny because I was like, oh, dude, all of my friends from San Diego were going to Miami and tattooing their asses off.
Mostly because of Morgan Pennypacker. His lady was from there, Jeanette,
Yeah,
and she had known Ami and that crew at Lou Tattoos by Lou. She was a piercer, I think, and so he lived in San Diego, worked at Lucky's right before I started there. And then she like went back and he followed her, or they went back together. And then they were just right there at the right time when Ami started the show. And then I got the call from Morgan to like come work because it was like this chaos that was busy. And I was just a lot of like, hey, come get involved in this, come be here.
Yeah.
So, and I was I was 24 maybe.
Right.
Just been tattooing a few years, like really just trying to figure it out. And I got thrown to the wolves.
Oh yeah.
Because we were just overwhelmed like by the amount of people and the chaos and this whole new thing of like the tattoo shit or the tattoo show thing. And it was really strange because I came from Dave and that whole mentality of like, anything that comes along with coming from an old guy. And so it was kind of hard to be there, but since I wasn't one of the guys on the show, like the main guy or anything, I maybe popped out a little bit. I could kind of be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And so I was in a really nice place. I was able to make money for the first time in my life where I could buy something extra,
Right.
Because when I started in San Diego, I mean, you had to build a reputation and a clientele, or you had to wait for the 1st and the 15th. And that's how you had any money. And it was always enough, but I definitely had a lot of donut days in the beginning.
Ooh, lots of donut days. I was talking. I can't remember who I was talking to about this. I think it was Josh Arment that I was saying. You know what I mean? If you haven't starved through 8 fucking winters, you're not a tattooer.
Yeah.
And being from San Diego, man, when it gets cold in San Diego, nobody comes out of their house, man. You know what I mean? It isn't like in Minnesota, man, where people they just want to get out of the house. So they'll go to the mall or they'll go to the tattoo shop or they'll do something like that, man. When it's raining here, it might as well be sleet and the end of the world stuff in California.
Stay home.
Yeah, totally. They always stay at home.
Yeah, so Miami was really it was a really a big gift, to be able to go and be a part of that and make some money. I was able to save and pay off bills, and I was never like a flagrant guy, so I was never like buying crazy shit or like, so I always kind of like paid off debt and held a little bit of money and tried to figure it out. And it was just a big blessing, man. And I am forever grateful to have had that time there. I was there for maybe 4 years straight, and then kind of dabbled a little bit, flew in and out a little bit.
Right.
Other than that, and
because you were part owner in Lucky's for a while with Shane, right? And then he was going on.
Yeah. So when Dave left, there was a lot of change of hands, buyout kind of stuff, and that's a whole nother story. But
yeah, we don't.
I had Lucky's with Shane for 10 years. Yeah, and I wasn't. I didn't want to do it. I was excited to like, you don't always work where you do your apprenticeship kind of thing.
Right.
And my mentality was like, okay, I kind of learned all the basics. Now I'm going to go somewhere and kind of fuck up a little bit and really figure it out and be my own man.
Right.
And at the time, Shane was like, no, I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to figure out a way to stay and keep it. And I kind of was like, oh shit. Okay. Well, I got nothing to lose. I'll fucking figure this out with you, And so him and I kind of did it for 10 years.
Yeah.
And we moved a couple buildings and changed the name a couple times and went through a lot. And it was just a part of my, my history, my story.
Story, bro. It's your story.
Yeah. And
then from Miami, did you come back here? Or you went straight to New York from there, right?
No. So I came back. I was living in Miami and I loved it. I was going to buy a freaking house there. I was like, I'm, taking it back to when I was a kid. I just was trying to figure out good stability, right? Like no safety net kind of lifestyle, and I was like, this is where the gold is being mined, let me stay here.
Yeah.
But the lady I was seeing at the time hated it. And I had my shop in San Diego still. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just go invest in myself again. And somewhere along the way, and we can get into this kind of like branding shit. I realized that I didn't want my reputation to be based on working at a well-known shop, right? Like I didn't want it to be like one of the guys that works at Miami Ink. I was like, I want to figure out how to stand on my own. And as I was navigating through that time, I was like, okay, I'll go back to San Diego. And that's when we moved my San Diego shop again. invested more in it, made it a nicer, bigger place. And right when I got back, I didn't want to be there. My partner was kind of into other things. You know, it was like more of a biker, tough guy, different energy than I was, just like still trying to figure out how to be a good tattooer. And
right.
And I also felt the call of travel a little bit. And I left pretty quick. I heard through the grapevine that Ami was going to do a New York thing. And I got the call, hey, you want to help me open the New York thing? And I was like, fuck yeah, you know, and it was a transitional spot. I was just leaving. I broke up with the girl I was seeing. And I was like, this is amazing, you know. I never wanted to live in New York, but I was like, this is where destiny is taking me. So I fucking shot to New York and kind of got in that whole thing, you know. And I was hoping it was going to be the same kind of thing as Miami, where it was just like busy as fuck and crazy. And it got a little bit of that, but it never got the full on. But it was a beautiful experience.
The thing about New York is that what you were lacking in San Diego, you really found there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You found your own stride.
Yeah.
You found your own brand. Set out on your own and do your own thing and be your own man.
Yeah. And I was very conscious of that. Like, I'm not just a guy that works here. I'm bringing value to this place. I'm bringing value as an employee there. I'm bringing value as a tattooer. I'm going to do good work. I'm going to talk everybody up that works here. I'm going to bring value to this place, but in doing that, I'm going to bring value to myself.
Right.
And yeah, that's when I just started building stone by stone, like putting some value on my name, you know, and still trying to do it to this day. But
yeah, man. But that's one of the things when you build a brand, you know, fucking Godfrey, calm down, let me go paint something. But basically all we are our own brand.
Dude, since the beginning of tattooing, you see those old business cards and the way that those tattooers talked about themselves and, best tattooer in town. And, you know, we got all the colors and like you did your best to make yourself busy and known. And so there's this fine line between our generation of selling out and shameless plugging and all this shit. And this is one thing I've always hated about art and tattooing is there's no community input on how to become better businessmen.
Right.
And if you see a guy that's like doing pretty good as a tattooer, maybe he's got some corny shit, it's like, fuck that guy, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of like, let's figure out ways to all rise up because a rising tide lifts all ships. You know what I mean? Like we have to figure out ways to be better businessmen. But then taking back from that, it's whatever you want out of life. Like if you want to just be in your shop every day, painting, working on your clients, not looking up, that could be heaven for you, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of cats that do that stuff every day. But most of the guys that we know are like, oh, you want to go to Japan? Cool. You know what I mean? Let me talk to the guys, make sure it's cool or whatever. You know what I mean? Being a team player in a shop, I just saw JoJo saying, you know what I mean? If you've got that thing, you know what I mean, and you're a team player, like, you know, with you and Ami, you know, he knew you were a team player, man. He made that call. Yeah. You know, he knew you were going to be there for him, and you were. Just like Morgan gave you the call.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even though you've built this brand to be what it is, you played on a lot of teams to wear that jersey.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think maybe that's taking a note out of Tim Hendricks' playbook, you know, just being a giver and helping people and not being selfish.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and that's one of the things that, like, I'm really trying to do in my life is not be selfish and be able to basically talk to my friends who I believe in. Like, I don't talk to people on this show that I don't believe in, you know, because I see their game plan, man. You know what I mean? I see what they're doing. I see their hustle. I see their grind, and then to be able to talk to them and listen to them and listen to where, they came from and the grind that they had to go through and what they had to do to get where they're at. Dude, these guys are too much, man. I swear to God, dude. So we're always we're all team JoJo, man. We all love that motherfucker.
Hell yeah, he's the best, man.
Oh yeah,
a badass too.
But that's just it, man. It's like, we've talked to JoJo and I have talked about it a bunch of times. It takes a core group of guys, and a team doesn't necessarily even need to be playing on the same field.
Yeah.
But the fact is that we all need to be playing for the team tattoo, Yeah. And that really okay. At that point now, let's get into your other project, which is the Lost Art.
Yeah.
Being a gentleman.
Yeah.
Which is just blew me away, tickled my heart, made me so happy to read all that shit that goes through that thing.
Thanks, man. I took some flack when I started that, for sure. People were like, "Oh, this dude's just trying to get laid."
Dude, they hate us because they hate us, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the fact is this, man, is that, like, I know people that follow your page that have absolutely nothing to do with tattooing.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, hey, have you heard about this IG page, man? Dude, blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know that dude." What? They're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh, that dude's trying to make better men and give them the idea that they can be."
I think of this quote a lot, and it's instead of bashing what you hate, promote what you love, right?
Right.
So I try to, with that page, is like promote what I believe to be, and it's just personal opinion,
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people identify with it, and it's rad. I love it, man. I was at like this lowrider show with Hendrix maybe a few years ago, and it's just full of gangsters. And this super thugged out guy came up to me, and you're in a scenario like that. You're like, is this guy fronting on me? Did I beat up somebody? Did I do something? And he comes up to me, and you're kind of cautious. He's like, "Hey Holmes, I love that Lost Art of the Gentleman shit," and it happened to me a couple times like that where I was just so stoked, man. It's just to be able to affect some from a different angle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that whole page right there, it's bringing positivity, full blown fucking positivity. And you know what? Then that's one of the things that as men, and I figured this out a couple 3 or 4 years ago, right after I went through my divorce, man, which was just ugly as fuck. And I realized that I needed to change. I needed to be a better guy. I needed to be able to look in the mirror and be the guy that I believed that I was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you'll tell yourself this story for so long that you're just gonna fucking buy it, lock, stock, and barrel. You know what I mean? And you're like, "Oh," and everybody. We all know how people are in this business talking about, "Oh, dude, you're the best. Oh, you're the greatest. Oh, you're the fucking blah, 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 blah." If you let that shit get to you, dude, it's a whole nother monster, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I watch you, and you stay very humble, man, and you stay very present, and you stay very, loyal to your friends, man. You know what I mean? Like, I constantly see you posting more shit about your friends than I do about yourself. You're always with your lady. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You wear
probably too much. She probably, if you ask her, she'll probably say too much.
Dude, you know what I mean? Dude, like literally, man. You know what I mean? If you can't tell that you're in love with that woman, you know what I mean? Then whatever, dude. You know what I mean? Not only is she amazing enough to land a great guy like you, but at the same time, man, you know what I mean? She's got to be amazing enough to land a great guy like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's very special.
Yeah, dude. And see, that's the thing, man, is that we go through all these phases of our lives, and each one teaches us a lesson.
Yeah.
Each one teaches us a lesson. You can either pay attention to that lesson, or you can blow it the fuck off. There's a fork in the road. And I know that I've lost friends over fucking decisions that I've made. You know what I mean? Whatever the case may be. But I choose to learn that as a lesson and take that as a positive instead of a negative, because positivity is just so much more. And that's what Lost Art brings to the table. It brings this top positivity. A fucking gangster, bro, came up to you and he's like, "I love that shit, Holmes. What's up, dude? Yeah. Dude, take a picture, a selfie, bro." You know what I mean? Because he loves that shit. Because that shit hits home.
Yeah.
It still hits home with me.
Yeah. It's, for everyone that wants to be better, including myself.
Yeah, dude. You know what I mean? And we all got regrets, bro. We all got regrets. We all got friends, man, that maybe ain't as happy with us as we might like them to be or whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, a lot of them just hate us because they ain't us.
Peanut butter and jealous.
Yeah, peanut butter and jealous, man. You know what I mean? So let me ask you this. What is up for the after this for you, man? Are you gonna go travel? I know you have your own private spot. Are you gonna what do you got going on?
Fuck, man. I don't have like a plan. I know this year I had all kinds of new shit happening. I was gonna give some speeches to some crazy like digital creative conventions and fucking, where were we gonna go, babe? What was the first place? Istanbul. And I had all this shit happening this year, so I'm hoping that that's going to happen next year. And, it's the weirdest thing because I've been like such an introvert most of my life, the majority of my life. And then a friend of mine who pushes me creatively was like, "Hey, you got to go speak at this school." And so I went and spoke to this art class in New York, and then did it again, and then did it again to seniors. And then from there, I had a friend say, "Hey, you got to speak at this convention." And it's like, you'll probably have a crowd of like 500-600 people, and you can kind of tell some of your story and, some of the brand stuff you've worked some of the people you've worked with and shit. And so I was like, okay, and going back to like the idea of building a brand, part of one of my formulaic ideas is to say yes to shit and say yes to shit that makes me uncomfortable.
Totally.
Because that's where you get new shit, and open up new doors. So, so this year I was supposed to speak at some bigger stages, a big one in Boston and a big one in Istanbul. Right. So I'm hoping that happens next year, even though I was like really happy that it didn't happen this year. Cause it's like, forcing yourself to jump, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. But let's talk about this, man, because like, this is one of the things that branding is so important right now. Okay, 10, 15 years ago, man, the only thing we needed to do was get our name out on the street and get some tattoos out there that looked good, man, and people were going to come.
Yeah.
Now, different ball game, man. Different ball game.
I mean, a busy fucking highway, man. There's so many levels and layers and things, and it's an opportunity, and it's confusing and frustrating at the same time, because there is so many avenues and so many ways to do it. But as a tattooer, I mean, the more value you can bring to your name, I'm able to freaking survive off selling paintings during this pandemic. It's incredible, man. And I'm so thankful to have built a little bit of a name and have the knowledge how to paint traditional tattoo flash. Thanks to Dave, and it's all part of the brand building and the hustle. I kind of got lost track there, but
it's part of the brand building, and you have successfully built a brand for yourself. Let's just talk about some of the stuff that you've been involved with, man. Sailor Jerry Rum, Violent Gentleman, you know what I mean? Like the list goes on, dude. You know what I mean? Like you're constantly saying yes to the right things.
Yeah, I mean, and it comes from saying yes. It comes from personal relationships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And meeting people and being good to people and building bridges that you never know 5 years later you're going to cross. And that's all it's been, man. It's been steady hard work, and it's been being nice to people, and it's been being open to do projects that I maybe normally wouldn't normally do, or things you would say no to because you're like, oh no, I don't do that. An example was when I was in New York, a lady came in. She's like, hey, I got this charity, and I'm getting these artists to paint these huge eggs, right? Like 4-foot eggs. And everyone in the shop was like, no, I don't want to mess with it. And it was one of those moments where I was like, okay, just do it. Fuck it. You know what I mean? And I don't know how to paint acrylic shit. I'm really good at watercolor, but that's kind of where it stops, you know? And
totally, dude.
But, you know, art is about creativity. So I said yes, and I got this huge egg, right? It was like 3 feet tall and wide, and I didn't really know what the project was, but I just painted some roses on it, you know, stuff in my wheelhouse. And next thing I know, I'm in this incredibly big art show with people like Jeff Koons and like crazy famous artists, you know what I mean? And I'm one of the 200 eggs in this fucking thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then that leads to, you know, more things. And so it's just kind of like the domino effect of saying yes to uncomfortable shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, part of my
yeah. You ain't getting nowhere saying no, bro. You know what I mean?
Nah, man. No way.
I couldn't believe that when you went to Singapore, man, they had that picture of you on the side of that fucking building at fucking 27 fucking feet tall, dude. That was the best. I was like, I was just clapping on the other end. I was like, oh, so fucking good.
Yeah, that's a weird. That was cool. Like looking up this like 200-foot digital billboard, but that was a wild show. Though that was actually that was the Philippines, and it was the biggest, busiest tattoo convention I ever did, and nobody had any money. It was the most people, the big show, tons of people. And I mean, the people in the Philippines, you know, there's a lot of poverty, and they were all there, and they were, you know, it was tough because they all wanted really big tattoos for like $30, you know?
Yeah, right.
And I did some, you know, I picked some appointments out and worked in the chaos, but yeah.
That's right.
The Philippines, man, Manila, that was a crazy place.
Yeah, dude. But you could always say too, man. Loy, talk about Pasole. There's Loy right there, man.
Oh, Loy.
Yeah, blessings, Loy, man.
OG Oceanside tattooer.
Serious, bro, serious. But you know, obviously you sat down and you did a couple of big fat tattoos for $30-$40.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're like, oh, hey, man, I'm here. Yes.
But the funny part is I actually went with a friend, and I won't name him the situation, but I got invited to go to help embezzle and bring in cash back to the U.S. So, like, he needed to have some friends because you can't fly with over $10,000, right, without getting questioned.
Right.
So a few of us kind of were just like the money mules, you know, which was great. We got a free trip out of it and a big tattoo convention. And it was a great adventure.
Nice. Good, man. Well, but that's the craziest thing is, you know, people always, they say, like, you know, tell your craziest story. You know what I mean? They always want me to tell me the craziest story in the tattoo shop. There's a fucking crazy story right there. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you don't need to be in the tattoo shop to get crazy stories when you're a tattooer.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny though? When they ask, I always freaking forget them all. I'm always like, oh shit, fuck, I don't know.
Well, the problem is, Luke, probably the same thing that I have. There's so many of them that, like, you know, I had somebody the other day that was telling me, oh, it was my buddy Jeremy Corn. And we had a moment at the Cow Palace in San Francisco at a Body Art Expo, and I didn't even fucking remember this. Like, I didn't even remember, but it had touched him so much, and I think that I remembered him telling me about it, but it was like I didn't even remember the interaction that we had. But when he retold me, I was like, oh yeah, I do remember that, you know? And he, you know, he was like, oh, dude, that interaction right there, I was kind of bummed. It was one of my first shows. He goes, that changed the way I looked at tattooing for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You know? And those are the stories that I love, man. You know what I mean? You know? And, yeah, the little black, there he is, man. He's the little black square. And I told him, man, if somebody comes in, man, and they want a little fucking black square or they want a full Japanese bodysuit, you got to treat them the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you never know. And that weekend I had a guy come up to me, man. He'd gotten turned down by Bugs to do a Yosemite Sam, and I just ended up, you know, doing the Yosemite Sam. And now he's one of my close friends, man. And I've done pretty much a full Japanese bodysuit on him.
That's dope.
You know?
Yeah, just man. You planted that seed.
Yeah. But that's just it, man. By saying yes. You know what I mean? That's going to be one of my new, dude, we just came up with that catchphrase right there. Say yes, man.
Yeah. You say yes long enough until you can kind of start saying no when you want, you know?
Yeah, totally. Totally. Man, so, anyways, what do you have going on the rest of the week, man? What kind of what kind of week do you have planned? No, let me just ask you this. What is your day-to-day now during this quarantine?
I do have kind of a rhythm, and it is paint my ass off like I was 25. I start a bunch of paintings.
I've been crushing it.
I go to my little private studio usually one day a week. Mm-hmm. And I do a lot of drawing there, and I'll draw here, I'll draw on my iPad, and I'll design stuff for paintings. And I'll usually go to my office where I got a light box and a copier, and I can blow stuff up and shrink it and get it to the size I want.
Yeah.
And then I bring the stuff home here, and we don't have a big place, but in the kitchen I kind of just take over, and I just have a bunch of little paintings ready to go. You know, like, so this will be my next few days. This is like, depending on my speed, I'll probably go through these in like 3 or 4 days. And,
right.
You know,
that's a good one. I love that one.
Tupac. But I've usually been doing I'm trying to do about 5 paintings a week. I've been trying to freaking jog a little bit in the mornings, but I'm fucking heavy and it's hard.
Yeah.
So I was just asking my girl, I'm like, do you think if I walked fast, it would do some good too? And she's like, well, you gotta walk really fast. Baby, will you refill this one? So I try to do I'm forcing myself here, maybe 25 minutes of exercise if I can.
Yeah.
Just because I'm fortunate enough, my girlfriend's family is close to here, and they're very close with my girl and with us. And we have home cooked meals 5 nights a week. We go over there, we eat with them. It's like the best food I've ever eaten in my life, and I've eaten all over the world. Yeah. And so I'm fucking just plumping up. So I'm sitting all day painting. I'm fucking trying to jog. I'm eating good. I got no complaints, man. I know people got it a lot worse. So my girl and I were kind of having a talk tonight, and we're like, it's getting to that point where everyone's really tired of the quarantine. I feel like I'm seeing it, I'm hearing it, and it's frustrating because you don't know exactly what the fuck's going on, how worried to be. But I was just telling her, I'm like, we're so lucky. Like, so many people have it bad, and we aren't those people. And partly because we work so hard in our life to get to where we're at now. She's still working. She does social media, and she's got her hours cut in half, but she's still working full time. And I'm cranking paintings and selling them. And so I got no complaints, man. Only thing I got complaints about is my spare tires getting a little bigger. But
you know what? But that's one of those things, though. Like, I've been trying to do. I've been swimming like 30 laps a day.
Dude, that's hard.
In the pool, man, and then trying to tread water for like 10 minutes. It usually takes me about 25-30 minutes.
Dude, that's brilliant.
But a week ago, I ended up with swimmer's ear and had to go to the doctor and get treated. So I was like, oh fuck, and my chick cooks so great. Like tonight, man, we had like zucchini and carrot pasta with sausage and a salad. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, damn, girl. You know what I mean? She's like, baby, you need to get in the pool. And I was like, but a week ago, I ended up with swimmer's ear and had to go to the doctor and get treated. So I was like, oh, fuck, and my chick cooks so great. Like tonight, man, we had like zucchini and carrot pasta with sausage and a salad. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, damn, girl. You know what I mean? She's like, baby, you need to get in the pool. And I was like, no, baby, literally, you need to quit making this shit for me. You know what I mean? It's like, and I am totally blessed in the situation that I'm at.
Yeah, like
I mean, I can't even say that I'm as thankful as I am, that I prepared a little bit, had some stash away, you know, because Rick always told me, he goes, no matter how much you're carrying in your pocket, make sure that you got at least half of that at home.
Yeah. And this is something that I wish there was a better way in tattooing, man, with investment, with understanding of business, understanding of money. So many of the rad tattooers I know that are old are struggling.
Yeah.
So many. There's a very few that have made it. And I hate that. I hate, you think of legends like Bob Roberts or like, I don't know how he's doing, but I imagine it's not as good as he should be because he's legendary, right?
Yeah, totally.
And
Zeke, look at Zeke, look at Don Nolan.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that's part of what my drive is, man. I want a tattoo until I'm fucking old and wrinkled, but I don't want to have to. And
totally.
I don't want to do it to survive, and I
totally.
never want to do a GoFundMe. Like I'm proud, when my spine went out, you don't see me asking for a dime. Like I have.
That was a motherfucker, huh?
Yeah, that was a motherfucker. It was my first vacation, like my spine surgery in Germany. It was brilliant. I actually had a wonderful time. I was laying up watching Netflix with no guilt.
Yeah, totally, man, totally.
But yeah, this is a conversation that I wish went on more in shops, by shop owners, by tattooers. I mean, I spent more of my life than I have in around tattooers and tattoo shops, and I barely heard any talk of investment or money management or never.
Yeah, they were invested in strippers and cocaine.
Yeah, and let me say, some of my friends are having the best life in the moment, right? Like I know guys in the moment that are just fucking, I'll make the money tomorrow, let's spend it all tonight,
But this is the craziest thing, Luke, that we all thought that shit. We thought that this money train wasn't going to stop. We just got stopped.
Yeah.
Right now.
But this is there's no promise that every day is going to be a certain way. This is a challenge to humans, to ingenuity, to creativity, to positivity. This is a challenge, and I look at it like that. Like where what are we going to build from this? What can we create? And not how to capitalize on tragedy, but how to capitalize on making lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah. And
so, like you starting the podcast, I love it, man. I love it. Because you got a great voice and you got good shit to say.
This dude, like, it was crazy because like when, Uncle Jeremy kept fucking pushing me. He's like, oh, dude, you got a great voice. You got a lot of shit to say. You need to be doing this shit. You need to fucking get out there and do this. Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, dude, I'm not putting my dick on the chopping block, bro. Because people are going to fucking hate me, dude. You know what I mean? And that was my fear. And then I just had to say yes and go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man. It's a great outlet. It's giving, giving knowledge to youngsters that pay attention. It's, there's so much good, and who knows where it can go.
Well, speaking of that, this is one of the things, man, that I've been having we got 2 minutes remaining. So let's jump off and jump back on because there's something I wanted to talk to you about and I want to talk to some of these heads about because it's something that's really I've talked to a few people about this, man, and I don't know how to get it going, but I really want to get this thing going. So let's just jump back off real quick and jump back on, make a quick talk about it. All right.
Okay.
All right, man. We'll see you in a minute. Thanks everybody. Intermission. Go pee. These guys are the best. Dude, you know what? That's the one thing that I love about the crowd that we have. And because it obviously, you know what I mean? I'm only talking to guys that have been tattooing 20 years. And the reason that I want that part of it, dude, just beat the cup real quick. I totally just beat the cup, man. And I spilt it all over my shoe. Like all over my corduroy fucking house slippers, bro. It's fucking horrible. But anyways, so I was having this, this talk with Jake today. And then, and a couple of my other buddies that at some point, we need to start something, because it really started hitting me when Deb, Ryan, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Was just like, oh man, I'm fucked right now, man. Could you just spare $1 or $2? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, I was the first thing I was like, I don't even know her.
Yeah.
I just know of her. I was like, oh, boom, here you go.
Yeah. When I see that, I instantly feel like, fuck, okay. Yeah. There's another one that needs help. Like, because there's nothing in place. There's no.
That's the thing that we need to change, is that we're all smart enough and we make enough money that we need to figure out, even if every tattooer sent $20 into a fund.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'd have to find somebody that was trustworthy enough to keep the money.
I know.
and not run off to Cuba. You know what I mean?
You know, what's his name? Aaron with True South. He's kind of like dabbled in starting, something like that, where like a charity kind of benefiting tattooers. Are you familiar with like any of that? Yeah. True South. It's not like his main thing. And he kind of like, he rallies and helps kind of I think he helped with the Chris Stewart stuff.
Yeah.
But he's the closest one to anybody I've ever seen, like trying to do something. And I always, whenever I see him, he's Oliver's partner at True.
Okay.
Do you know Aaron with the red beard?
Okay, I know. I don't know him.
He's great, man. And I every time I see him, because I know that tattooing needs that. And every time I see him, since he's kind of done a little bit of it and started, I'm like, dude, I'm like tugging on his shirt. Like, come on, man. You need to do this for all of us.
Well, and that's one of the things that, man, that I really believe that we need, man. You know what I mean? Because it's obvious at this point, man, right now, that nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, nobody does.
About tattooing, man. Nobody gives a fuck. We are the safest people in the world. We should be out there tattooing. Dude, you've been to the grocery store. You've been to you know what I mean? I won't even go near a fucking Home Depot.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Walmart.
Or a Walmart or any of that stuff, man. I've been hitting all these mom and pop shops and doing, you know what I mean? Getting my meat from this meat guy, man, and hitting up Gelson's because I know that there's a lot of less people there, you know what I mean, or whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact is that, like, we are trained, bloodborne pathogen trained, surface trained, and we're going to be fucking phase 3. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
And I don't want to get into the politics of it, because you and I and every fucking other tattooer who's on here right now knows exactly what time it is. We all have the same gripe. We all know. We all have to pay the $35 fucking dollars and take the fucking 2-hour goddamn test and pass that shit before we get licensed. Then we have to be licensed by our city. Then we have to be licensed by the state. You know what I mean? Depending on the state. So we have to do all this shit. That fucking cashier at Ralph's didn't get licensed for shit.
Dude, I bought some shit tonight, and I fucking handed my credit card to the guy, and I was hoping he had the thing where you just put it in, and then you can fucking. I was like, oh, I'll just did. But the guy's just grabbing my credit card, grabbing the food. I got some to-go shit, and I was just like, I'm just watching the transfer of fucking filth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always say that tattoo shops are cleaner than probably most hospitals. Definitely, dental offices. I mean, we're just more on it.
Did you ever hear the fucking story about when I was out to there with Corey Shige, and we went out for some sushi, man, and I fucking bit a fucking hole in my tongue, right? I bit a hole in my tongue eating sushi. Don't know how it happened. Have no fucking idea. How the fuck do you do that? You know what I mean? I could see if it was a taco or some shit like that. But anyways, ended up going to the hospital, and I watched the doctor cross-contaminate shit 3 fucking times. I'm like, are you going to change your gloves? And he's like, what? And I'm like, you just touched that cabinet. And he's like, no, I didn't. I'm like, you just touched that cabinet. And then he grabs the cart and he pulls the cart over, and I'm like, you just touched that cart. Change your gloves. And he's like, oh, dude, I know what I'm doing. I'm like, obviously you don't. You're about ready to stick your fucking hands in my mouth.
Dude.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now I'm heightened, but before this, working for Dave, he was so bad.
Oh.
He was so unsanitary. He would cut holes where his rings would come out of his gloves. He would fucking cross-contaminate the whole shop.
Oh, dude. Without a doubt, dude. You know what I mean? Without a doubt. Just grabbing dirty. Dude, there's a picture of me working for Tilly Todd out at Colonel Todd's shop out in the desert. And dude, you want to talk about probably the most disgusting tattoo picture. I have a paper towel and I got a cheeseburger in my hand. It's a payday weekend at 29 Palms. And I have a fucking gloves on and I'm smoking and eating a cheeseburger with my gloves on at my station.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. But I was lucky they even had gloves back then. You know what I mean? Like, dude, the first time I got gloves was like probably when I went to Realistic at Catfish's. Catfish is like, okay, so we're a little different than they are over here at the Grim. So we actually heat sterilize everything and we wear gloves. Yeah. And I was like, wow, dude, how do you tattoo with gloves? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, I'm using Kleenex, you know what I mean? And a spray bottle that's just...
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Ultrasonic running right next to it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised I'm not dead now.
Dude.
5 machines in a machine rack with Hexol, dip it in some bleach, rinse it out, let's go.
So I know not a lot, but I know there's a bunch of tattooers that are tattooing now. And some are doing it privately, some are doing it in states that are open.
Yeah.
You know, I since I'm selling paintings and stuff, I don't have to get back right now. So I'm just kind of buying some time while hopefully we, figure out some more shit. And what bums me out the most is I feel like we haven't had any clear information on this fucking thing. Yeah. I hate how contagious it is, supposedly. So I'm still one of those that is a little more skeptical and a little more hesitant just because I can afford to be. Too, right. You know what I mean? Like, we talked about this with my girl. I'm like, I'm not fighting to break down the door to reopen because I'm okay right now. Yeah. But I wish we knew more. I wish there was more info. I feel like every fucking day in the last 2 months we've got the same news. I haven't had one new fucking thing. Nothing's like, nobody figured anything out. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. You get such opposites. It's just go for it or it's going to be bad. There's nothing in the middle, no clear information. So it's, for me, I'm just kind of like sitting back as long as I can to just see what the fuck's going on. And I wish we knew more, man.
You know what? And this is kind of the one thing that I kind of feel about the whole thing is that the media is driving it. The government is letting the media drive it. And we don't have a fucking clue at what's going on. So I'm fortunate that I don't really, and I'm blessed, man. Thank God right now, man, that I don't need to rush right back out and do this. Yeah. Do I want to rush right back out and do it? Fuck yeah, man. If they said, dude, everything is fucking safe and you know what I mean? There's fucking Coronas on the beach. Go down there and just fucking have at it. I'd be the first one at the beach with my board. But I'm not even skeptical. I'm even skeptical about the true shit that they're telling us. You know what I mean? You don't even know at this point.
Yeah.
And if they're making decisions of letting the places open they're going to open Disneyland. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Is that what are they talking about that shit?
Dude, they're talking about opening Disneyland and Universal fucking Studios. Not that I don't walk around. If I ever go to those places, man, I take hand sanitizer with me everywhere. Because there's like 8,000 fucking kids there that are touching everything, man. You know what I mean? Like, dude, the cross-contamination that goes on in a place like that is just ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's maybe where some herd immunity is built. But...
Yeah, man. Well, I'm trying to keep my shit together when it comes down to that a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't use hand sanitizer all the time because of the fact that you need some good bacteria in your life, man.
Yeah. But also, I don't get the care. Like, I don't feel the need to be careless. Like, right? Like, I don't really believe in God, but I'm not going around saying "motherfuck God." You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Because
yeah, you're like, fuck that. I get it.
But I have the luxury to be a little more cautious, and I'm, however you need to be. I don't have to fight to break down my shop and open the door because I'm okay for a little bit.
Yeah, my whole thing is this. all the guys that I love and respect in this business, they're sitting at home. I'm not going back until they're going back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, Mike says that shit to me all the time. Jungle people don't catch jungle diseases, man. Hate me or don't, whatever, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, Carlos, don't be drinking your rinse cup. Of course not, man. That's like drinking bone water. But the fact of the matter is this. We are a safe practice, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, you've tattooed doctors, nurses, paramedics, all that shit. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. They always, it kills me that they come in and they're like, oh, aren't you going a little bit overboard on the wrapping shit up? And I'm like, oh, would you like me not to?
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
I know. I've never had a nurse or a doctor complain about. No. We definitely go overboard. It's way cleaner than in their house.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. And we continue to keep it that way. Even at our worst, it's way better than anybody else's best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So let's just hope that we get this thing fucking wrapped up and we can. What did Sean just say? I like to talk to Sean because Sean is in the middle of it, man. The moment that they don't have a 5-year suspension, good tattoo like a madman, dude. Sean's been really good, dude, man. You know what I mean? Because Sean's spearheading the APP, the APT, all that stuff, the regulations to get us back in and get us back tattooing. You know what I mean? Dude, if anybody knows what the fuck time it is, it's Sean. You know, and I think at the same time he really kind of agrees with this, that I don't really understand what's going on and how this is, you know what I mean, how this is affecting us. He's also doing the same thing, holding back because of the fact that he can at this point right now. His guys are okay. He's taking care of all that stuff, you know, and you know, it'll all come out in the wash, man.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there, and we'll be back tattooing and in no time, man. I mean, they're talking about us, man. It'll be August, you know. At least, dude. The only positive is we're going to be tax free for the half of 2020. You know what I mean, dude? Like, what are they going to do, man? They can't bleed a turnip. You know what I mean? So they're losing.
Did you get a stimulus check?
What was that?
Did you get a stimulus check?
No, no, I didn't get shit.
Yeah, you should check. You pay some taxes.
Yeah, well, I'm on W-2 where I'm at. Yeah, we just switched over. Actually, man, I have somebody that's looking into it right now for me. That's a little bit more kind of savvy in that whole fucking game. I've got turned down a few times, so you know, and now I'm starting to learn the tricks, man. And I got somebody that's trying to help me through it, and a couple other people that are trying to get, you know, because it's weird navigation through that stuff. You know what I mean? So, you know, hopefully, you know, I was just lucky, man, that before I just had a couple pennies that I got to rub together. You know what I
mean? I'm saving a shitload on not dining out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
we eat out a lot in our normal life, you know, no kids, like we're eating out. So I save a fucking shitload of home cooked meals on home cooked meals, and we're eating them at Ghost Folks. So
yeah.
There's money being saved in different ways. Gas. I'm saving all kinds of money in gas.
Dude, can you believe the fucking gas prices right now? Dude.
Yeah, the food prices go up, gas prices go down. We need the food, but we don't need the fucking gas.
Yeah, totally, dude. Man, I just filled up my tank the other day. It was $2.82 a gallon, and I was like, oh wow, dude, Jesus, I haven't seen that since like, you know, 2003 or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Someone ridiculous. Posted like, anybody else getting 2 to 3 weeks a gallon?
Yeah, totally.
During this quarantine.
Yeah, we don't even drive anywhere.
No, we drive 10 minutes to my girl's parents and back, and then I go to my office, which is about 20 minutes, like one day a week.
That's amazing. Sean Anderson says he's spending it all on beer. Like, if you can't tell behind me, man, I've started the Dead Captains. So the first one was the big bottle of Jack, and then it was the Bullet, man, and then I went through the Japanese one. And
nice.
Yeah, dude. Well, you got to keep a little variety in your life. You know what I mean?
My shop has a whole mess of half-drunk bottles.
That's perfect, man. That's perfect. Well, dude, I really appreciate you coming on, man. You know, I'm a big fan, and I'm your friend. You know what I mean? And I just love being able to chat with you and talk about the good times, and man, you know what I mean? And I do believe, bro, man, that you have made a difference, man. Lost Art is definitely making a difference. It's definitely make dudes pay attention, try to be better dudes, and that's all we can do, man. You know what I mean? Is try to be better at the end of the day, man. And my hat's off to you, bro. You know, I'm not only your friend, but I'm a big fan. So just
likewise,
you know, dude thank you so much, man. And hey, everybody, man, everybody who's out there, thank you so much for fucking being on. All the pranksters, dude, I love that shit, man. I love all you guys, man, so much. Let's just get back to work and do what we're gonna do. And thank you, Luke.
We'll be buzzing in no time.
Yeah, totally, man. You be blessed. Give your lady the best, man, and thank her for taking care of you as well as she does. I know that she does, man, and I know you guys are really happy together, and it's beautiful, man.
Thanks, brother. I'll talk to you soon, man. Thanks for having me on your show.
Perfect, man. I'll talk to you soon, buddy. Peace.
Okay, bro. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Peace.
Hey, everybody, man. That was super fun, man. Wayne, no problem. You know what? Thank you guys, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for giving me the love that you're giving me. Dude, the conversations that I've had on this thing with my friends, with guys I didn't even know that are now my friends, dude, it's amazing. You know, if there's somebody that you feel that would be great on this podcast, man, and I don't know, dude, reach out. Let me know what's up. If you got some questions that because obviously I'm posting the guys that are, that are coming up. You know what I mean? Like on Wednesday, it's Big Frank. Now, you know what I mean? Dude, Big Frank to me is the shit, dude. I mean, I love Big Frank. Big Frank sold me my first punk rock record at fucking Zed Records in Long Beach. And so I'm just like, I'm you know, and then on Friday, man, you know what I mean? We got Eddie Deutsch, you know what I mean? So, dude, if you got questions or something like that, man, feel free to ask. Tell your friends, man, what's going on. Godfrey is not gay. I've tried it with him twice. Lefty, come on, man. Quit calling him out like that. Anyways, but check this out, man. Tune in Wednesday night. Big Frank. Dude, I can't even wait. And then Eddie Deutsch on Friday, man. I'm super. It was the damn neat is what it was. So I'm, you know what I mean? It was like, he's like, what are you looking for? And I'm like, I'm looking for the damned. And he goes, oh, good choice, man. And he was like, boom. Yeah, dude, we all love what is it? A fucking cucumber, pineapple, whatever. I don't even know. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your love and support. I'd like to thank, man, Sullen for getting me to do this, man, Uncle Jeremy, and I'd like to thank JoJo. I love JoJo and Robert and Godfrey and Lefty, and dude, you guys just rock my world, man. I love you so much. Carlos, dude, I can't even say enough, man. Oh, it's an eggplant. Thanks, Lefty. Dude, Catherine, thanks so much, man, for being here, and I appreciate it. Man, you guys have made my evening go by super quick. I will see you on Wednesday, I hope. Have a blessed couple of days, man. Be happy, be safe, stay at home, and don't go to Home Depot or Walmart. Peace and love, man. We love you all. Take care.